Live audio. Mics are hot. You're live.
Good evening. This is the Town of Auburn, Massachusetts Fire Station Building Committee meeting for December 1st, 2025 at 6 p.m. I'm calling the meeting to order. As we get into, I think we have one item before our first agenda item, one of our committee members.
Yes, thank you. Due to a conflict of interest, I am going to recuse myself from tonight's meeting.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Good night, Heather. Have a good night.
Thank you.
All right. The first item on the agenda was we were looking to need to go into an executive session to discuss the budget in detail. And since we're so close to bidding time and everything, we want to do that so we don't publicize our detailed estimates down to the trades and stuff. Entertain a motion would be in order to go into executive session per MGL Chapter 30A to inform Fire Station Committee what's being discussed in deliberated matters that conflict open meeting could be detrimental to the position of the town regarding the outcome of the bidding and work to come out of executive section and reconvene in an open meeting. We'll discuss the higher level budget and stuff at that point. So
I will make a motion to go into executive session for whichever statute that was,
okay.
for a discussion of things that could be adversely affected.
We'll just
And
Second.
in a second. So all those in favor? All right. So we're going to be going to executive session. Probably be half an hour or more.
use the audio.
Okay, you may go.
All right, so this is the Fire Station Building Committee meeting on December 12th, coming out of executive, or December 1st, 2025. Coming out of our executive session, we're discussing matters that could be detrimental if it was to the overall bidding of the project. So now we're going to get back into our regular agenda items here. The next item up is public comment. Nobody here from the public, so done with that. Review of meeting minutes from the October 6th meeting, I think it was. I think, Joe, we missed you on, you're not listed?
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry,
Joe.
Joe.
So
We got
I
it.
would make a motion to,
Oh, well, is there any other
oh,
additions, the corrections or whatever to
Yeah,
the
I
meeting
guess.
minutes from,
I'll add you on there.
so I will make a motion to approve the meeting minutes with the edit that Joe was also in attendance of that meeting.
Second.
all right, all those in favor? All right, those are approved.
Go again. Apologize.
And we're going to just flip-flop the order of stuff. We're going to have left field go first with the OPM updates.
All right, so I'll start off before I pull up any kind of budget, just to update the committee on pre-qualification. So we heard back from a good number of contractors and general contractors. We went through the list and qualifications, and luckily everyone did pass, which is good news. I'm sending out the letters by Wednesday so we can give ourselves some time before the bid, because there is a buffer period that they hold true. So that gives us the perfect amount of time then to go out to bid at the end of January and beginning of February, and hear back. So although we did hear back from a lot of general contractors and subcontractors for the pre-qualifications, I just want to let everyone know that doesn't necessarily mean that everyone will be bidding that job. Most likely we do see on some of these jobs that more people will submit for pre-qualification than for the bid, just based off of workload if they win other jobs, depending on what that year looks like for them. So, but it does look pretty good, and I just want to thank the subcommittee too for helping out and joining those calls to review them. I'll jump into the budget. Here, I'll share it. Here we go. So Left Field and Tecton both did individual cost estimations for the design development package, both which we sat down for reconciliation. It was just the little less than a half a day long, going line by line, and we ended up on a agreement for the number of $24,570,687 for construction costs, which brings the total project budget to $30,999,487, which is trending in a beneficial direction for the town. So if we want to, if you have any questions, feel free.
Yeah, just to note that I know the last meeting we talked about a lot of value engineering items of different facade materials and everything. Right now, your estimate at the 24 million includes all brick
Correct. Yeah, it includes all the materials that was not discussed during the value engineering discussion. So this is full building, all material, everything, all the bells and whistles.
Okay. So,
Any other?
Questions?
All right.
do we want to? We can go through the presentation with the design and stuff first, if we want, before we decide on
Yeah.
going after the budget. Okay.
Votes at the end.
Yeah.
Do votes at the end? All right.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So I think that's it for me. Unless you have any other questions, Leading up to the bidding process, we will be updating the committee, whether it's in person or email or whatever it may be. But
So the end of January is the bid. Everything's going out. The pile bid goes out at the same time as GCs. And all
correct.
that?
Yep. And we'll
Okay.
be giving GCs. Typically,
what's
it's
the-
like a little bit longer. It's like a week longer.
Okay. So what's this? If they go out the end of January, what's the schedule for coming back?
So then it's typically it'd be 4 weeks for subs and then 5
Okay.
for GCs. Yep.
Okay,
And
great.
then, so that would be mid-February, we have to open.
Meet and
it.
then we'll present all the information. March. I'm sorry. Yeah. No.
Oh, right, because end of
Yeah.
January.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. March. He's right.
Mid-March.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. That's right. Yep. Yeah. We'll bring that package in front of the committee for approval and review.
Okay, great.
Any else for left field? Oh, I just want to applaud the Sean and his group over for working hard over on site, which I'm sure the town has seen. So thanks, Sean. All right.
Matt from Tecton, give an update of where we are with the design, what's been going on from CDs till now, or for SDs till now, to the design development and through. Is continuing on here.
All right. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. We have been busy. So, where we've been recently, so we've completed design development. Those drawings were delivered right at the end of October. They were sent to you folks as well as the building department as well, so they've been doing their review. We've also done an initial radio communications coordination meeting with the town's radio vendor and our electrical engineer on October 9th. We had came up to the fire department with our interior designer, and we did a millwork interior design review where we went through all the cabinetry that's being specified within the building and made sure that those all aligned with their operations and what they expected. This was going through cabinets, wardrobes, finishes, and things like that. We also had the department down to our office and hosted them on 11/6, not January 6th. Apologize for that. For a final interior design review where we went through a full recap of all the interior finishes. If anybody would like to see any of them, I've got a sample box here with a selection of some of those. And then I also have a 3D Enscape model that I'll pull up after these next couple of slides, and I can walk you through some of the more premier interior spaces within the building, so you can get a sense of what this is going to look like on the interior, because thus far we've really only looked at the outside of the building and some plans, so we'll get to feel the space out a little bit better. And a lot of those finishes have actually been incorporated into that model, so you'll get a real sense of how the spaces are going to look. And then beyond that, as Connor had noted, we had gone through our estimate reconciliation and updated the budget accordingly based on those results, which were favorable. Moving forward, on Thursday, we have a virtual meeting with the building department and fire marshal. So we're bringing them all together for another discussion off of what they see in the design development documents and that package that we've submitted thus far. If they have any questions, concerns, or issues, they can certainly raise them there and we'll address them. Again, this is our way of streamlining the permitting process so that when the contractors, once we have a successful bid from a general contractor, they can get in the ground fast without any issues or disruptions. Beyond that, we are also scheduling another technology coordination meeting with the fire department, specifically around radio systems, communications, and station alerting. So we'll be looking to have that right after the holiday. We have to get that on the books, as well as a final site plan review, just making sure that all of the site amenities are well captured within the scope of the documents, just going through those final details. Most of it's already been coordinated. We're also issuing our 75% construction document package for estimate on January 9th. And we're also planning on issuing the 100% construction document package to the bidders on January 30th. Fitting nicely into that schedule that Connor just outlined for the bidding schedule. That estimate package will be reviewed and reconciled, as was the DD estimate. So we're hoping that should hold true for where we are at today and where the budget is. So we're looking for that to be in alignment. And we'll certainly, if there's any issues with the budget, raise those to the committee quickly once we receive those, so we can react and make sure we're not holding up our bid schedule. Additionally, on the permitting front, MassDOT permitting is ongoing right now. There's been some back and forth on that. Our work with the electrical utilities is ongoing and is well underway, so we're confident and comfortable with the progress we've made on that front. And we also appeared before the Planning Board as well as the Conservation Commission a couple of weeks ago. We are not anticipating being on their schedule for December. There was some delay in getting peer reviewer through the town on board to review those documents and provide comments to us. If we don't receive comments back within the next day or two, we won't be able to make the schedule to address any of those if there's anything that requires revisions for December, because the next hearing is, I think, December 12th. In which case, there's 2 meetings on the calendar in January, and we would plan on being at both of those in order to close those hearings and get orders and conditions sorted ahead of the bid, so any changes can be incorporated into the construction documents. So the schedule is tightening up on the permitting front, but we're still confident and comfortable with the time that we have left in order to achieve those approvals. I think the comments that we've received thus far have been favorable and minimal.
And just to add on top of kind of what Matt's talking about, we did, myself, Mark, and Chief and Glenn went in front of the select board last month, I think it was. Yeah, a few weeks ago, which it was received real well over there. So just to update the committee on that.
So I can give you a quick overview of the interior design. So I'm going to switch over to this live model. And like I said, I do have some of the finishes here. So I can pull some of these out. We can talk about them if there's anything in particular anybody wants to look at.
Thanks.
So we develop our construction documents in a Revit model. So it's a 3D live linked cloud connected model between us and all of our consulting disciplines. That actually coordinates well with this program that allows us to have a sort of live 3D photorealistic understanding of the space. And we've actually then brought the finishes into it through this model. Now, this was a few weeks ago. The model has developed since then when we developed this. So this is a snapshot in time. So there's some things in here that you'll see. There's sort of artifacts of further development that goes on as we develop the bid package. For example, this is the entry vestibule when you first come into the public entry of the fire station. There's the X-brace that you see on the left there. That will be in the wall. It's just not, we were going through structural coordination at the time. So you'll see some of those artifacts in the model. So, but when you first come in to the vestibule, this is the admin window here. So this is where the administrative folks will be, chief secretary, so that you can come into the secure vestibule, be greeted by a person, and then be brought into the building itself. So it allows the station to be secured, but also accessible. When you first come into the lobby, so training room is on your left. This is a 2-story height atrium space when you first come in. To the right, there's a built-in display case and bench, a little waiting area. So there's 3 display cases here for department historical artifacts. When you first come in and look up, anybody who's familiar with Town Hall outside of the big meeting room, there's that big antique fire extinguisher. We're proposing actually bringing that into the fire station, hanging it from the ceiling, so it'll be hanging over your head as you first come in. Little piece of the department's history when you're first there. The floor is terrazzo, and we'll cast in the town seal into that terrazzo. This is the color that we're looking at for that terrazzo. Fairly neutral, but it does have little subtle pops of red in there just to, give you that sense that this is a fire station.
Is the seal gonna be the town seal, or are we doing the?
I'm sorry, yeah, we're doing the patch. Yeah, so at the time that we did the model, we were doing the town seal. We're actually going to do the fire department patch. So they actually get in there and they form out these inlays, and then they fill those with terrazzo as well. They get sealed. It's a really attractive feature. And then you can see beyond the sort of upper lobby that goes into the firefighters' living space. Off to the left, when you first come in, this is the training room. So it's a mix of a few materials. So we have a drywall coffered ceiling with a wood ceiling inlay. That's the sample of the wood ceiling that'll also be in the lobby and the entry canopy as you come into the vestibule. It will be in that darker finish that Glenn's got in front of him there, not the finish you see on the table, that more birch look. It'll be more of a dark walnut look that you see in the rendering. The training room will be, we'll have a perimeter of wood wainscot around there, so it'll be nice and durable, but also give you that feeling of a municipal building, something that's a little bit more substantial. The wood flooring that you see around the perimeter that aligns with the soffit above is a luxury vinyl plank that's being passed around, and then we have a carpet inlay in the middle. It's a carpet tile. They do a lot of training like CPR and things like that where they're doing work down on their knees. So giving them a little bit softer surface would be ideal for that. The carpet we're proposing for this is a very low, dense pile, very cleanable. You could pour a bottle of wine on that, leave it overnight, and clean it up the next day, and it won't stain. So heading around, we've got our kitchenette off to the right over here. Through the door. So then we've got our EOC conference room over here. We initially were rendering this with quite a bit of wall covering on the walls. We've pulled that back since we looked at this. It was a little much. But that's the EOC conference room. And then next to that is the staff side entry. So this is the gym. So we've got a mirrored wall over here at one of the weight stations, our overhead door so that we can bring some exercise equipment outside on a nice day. This is going to utilize fitness flooring. It's an athletic fitness flooring. I got Glenn on payroll, so he's our interior designer for the day. We're going to be doing some branding within this space. You can see the patch on the wall. We're going to put some verbiage on the walls and things like that, some things of inspiration. And then we also talked about doing, as a wall protection in here, a dark diamond plate. So instead of the diamond plate you see on the fire trucks that's stainless steel, one that's finished in black, doesn't show the dings and scrapes and things like that as easily and is a nice durable material.
Are these tiles?
They are tiles. Yep.
How big are the tiles again? Bigger, right?
I think they're either 2x2 or 4x4. Yeah.
I'm just thinking for replacement eventually.
Yep. So heading back out. So if I turn around the corner here, we're back at the lobby. Again, you can see the antique hanging from the ceiling in that 2-story height space. Head up the stairs. The stairs are a matching terrazzo to the floor. They basically precast stair treads out of the terrazzo material. So it's very cost-effective, durable, slip-resistant, easily cleanable. So this is the upper landing. There's a small seating area out here, and then we can look back down in the lobby. We've got some high windows to the roof where the future vertical addition is planned. So we've got some high windows up there, bring some natural light down into the day room, some of those deeper spaces. We are exposing the structural steel in here and then infilling it with that wood ceiling material. And you can see it's got a felt backer to it, so it has acoustic properties, so it doesn't create an echoey space. It's a Class A fire rated material. It's a wonderful product. From here, we can then enter the firefighters' living quarters. First with the day room, we've got a nice little built-in entertainment center for them. Their chairs, seating around. Again, a small area of carpet, so it's a little bit softer, a little bit quieter. And then we move into the dining room. So a large dining room table, enough to fill, to fit an entire duty crew, full shift in here. Still working on this light fixture. And then the kitchen. So good sized kitchen. Fire department uses an old ladder right now that they hang pots and pans from. So we're gonna recreate that over this peninsula island as well. And then a series of fridges, cabinets, and things like that. We're looking at doing quartz countertops in here for the countertop material to reduce the need for a lot of heavy scrubbing and cleaning and things like that. We're actually going to use that quartz as the backsplash rather than doing a tiled backsplash. So the counter material will run right up so that we're not dealing with any grout joints or anything like that they would need to clean. So it's a nice seamless installation. Oh, we didn't go through and render every space, so I won't go through every space. But I will take you downstairs to the fire pole, into the apparatus bays. So this is the main apparatus bay. Basically using a two-tone pattern of two different gray epoxies and then outlining those with and defining our drive aisles and walking pathways essentially with this red stripe. Open structure, we'll be painting the structure and the deck out with dry fall paint. And then we've got our mezzanine and workrooms beyond there. And then on the other side of this is our mechanics bay. And a number of things that go along with that. One thing that we're doing to create as much ceiling height as we can over the trucks, and what you don't see in this model, we've changed the structural system up slightly since we ran this. This was looking at deep joists spanning the bays completely, and using that as our primary and secondary structural system. So they're basically just braced open web joists, and they're 4 feet deep or so. To create a little bit more of an economical structural system, and to also improve our roof drainage system, we were running into a lot of conflicts. This is a simple way to go about it because we're setting one steel height, but it adds a lot of complications to the way that we're draining our roof structure, especially with these long spans. So because of this, we need to crown the roof and slope it on the short way, in the short direction, and then have our downspouts basically run between the bay doors. There's a lot of stuff that happens in that zone. So structurally, it becomes a real big conflict because our primary point of structuring between the doors is to have a column here. That then needs to correspond with the parapet wall above that, and all those things sort of tie together. So what you end up having with this structural system in this arrangement is a conflict between structural steel and your drainage, because you're going to puncture through that parapet wall, scupper to a downspout, and then drain it on the outside of the building. It also puts a lot of downspouts between the doors. These guys drive great. They're going to hit them at some point. So we wanted to take that drainage system away from the apparatus bay doors. We wanted to get rid of the structural conflicts with the drainage system. And so what we've done is we've actually revised this, and this is one of our value engineering ways to simplify the design, is slope the entire structure the long way, this way, and drain the entire roof to the north, and then drain it down out on that side. So it's reducing the amount of points we're penetrating the parapet. It's keeping our drainage sort of isolated to a single point within the building, and it gets it away from the drive aisle so that it's not going to be as easily hit by the trucks. So what we ended up doing is we have larger girders than these running between the bays, and then a secondary structure between that to support the roof. Each one of these will slightly step down between the doors and will slope the entire roof structure that way. It's a really economical way to do a large apparatus bay like this, and sort of ties the structure and the stormwater and the roof system all together in a pretty simple way. Any other questions on the interiors?
On the roof there, sloping it slightly to the north means solar would probably have to then be,
It's a very subtle pitch, so we're talking I think it's a 1/4 inch per foot or a 1/2 inch per foot or something like that. And those, like, even if you just do a ballasted solar array, those you can normally get at a 5, 6, 7 degree pitch. So it wouldn't take this out of that equation. It wouldn't reduce the efficacy of a solar installation on that roof.
or increase the complexity, I guess.
Drain to a subsurface drainage or just out to grade?
No, it'll drain into the stormwater
Okay.
infrastructure. Yep.
Matt, do you know offhand, what does that do to the inside ceiling height? Like from one end to the other, do we know that number?
So what we're trying to get for you to work on a fire truck is a 19-foot floor clear overhead. That typically will give you enough room to tip the cabin in aerial. We'll be at, between the apparatus bay doors, we're going to be like, I think in our worst case, at 17'6", but then between the bays we'll be well over 20 feet clear. So you'll have a moment centered on this pilaster where it'll be lower than that 19-foot floor, but the entire area that the truck is going to occupy is going to be well above that height.
Gotcha.
If you go to Natick and you go to fire station number 4 there, this is the concept we utilize for that. It's a good one to go see. It gives you a lot of economy in the structure and a lot more, actually more headroom than you typically would have, than you would have here. So it's a better use of the volume. I do want to go over one potential site plan change we want to make and one floor plan change that we have made.
Okay.
I'll start with the floor plan change. So this is in the administrative wing. I'm getting used to new windows. Forgive me for that pop-up. It keeps coming. So main lobby, admin, training officer, fire prevention, chief's office. So in the admin wing. The last time we showed you the plan, the conference room, the admin wing conference room was tucked up here in the corner, and the IT room was down here in the corner. We had a couple of bathrooms along this corridor here. On the second floor, before we went through the value engineering exercise and we sucked the building in, we used to have four bathroom shower rooms out here, and then another corridor, and then the bunk rooms were pushed out to the east. One of the ways we reduced the building is got rid of that second corridor that went through here and sucked that whole elevation in. And in doing so, we pushed the shower rooms over here up against the kitchen and the dining room. The problem we ran into is that put the plumbing stack right over the center of the IT room. We worked really hard at trying to coordinate the plumbing so that it would all go around the IT room and avoid that, but we couldn't do it. So we wanted to look at another location for the IT room. Any plumbing fixtures above, I mean, we're putting a chemical fire suppression system in there so that we don't have wet sprinklers in the room. So it didn't make sense to have plumbing up above it. So we basically swapped the conference room and the IT room and then moved the toilet rooms to the corridor. The other advantage to this is instead of the conference room being sort of landlocked and down a corridor, it's sort of on the main core here so that we could get some windows, some glass in there, get some borrowed natural light through some transoms from the offices and things like that. So it improves the quality of that space as well. And then further moves the IT room more centrally located within the building. So it's a slightly better economy of scale on some of that infrastructure that we'll be running there. Any questions on that? This has no impact on the budget, other than I think it probably would further improve it because our plumbing stack upstairs would now align with the chase down here, so we'd have a little bit of economy in some of the plumbing rough-in work. All right, out to the site. Fire department asked if it's possible for us to look at increasing the staff parking capacity and adding in a parking canopy over a portion of it. So what you're looking here is that preferred plan that would achieve that. Basically, we had this in the previous plan. We'd be adding a little bit of a loop road here and some additional parking spaces down here. And then adding a small parking canopy over these 12 spaces right there. We'll have to add a little bit of additional stormwater retention to deal with the additional parking spaces. But, you know, the canopy and this additional parking work and subsurface work is not in the budget as presented today. But I think these are reasonable things to put in as alternates.
My first reaction to it is you're taking up space of future building pad by doing this, and so I don't know that we were trying to keep as much free space as we could.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, if that space needs to get used, that all has to go away, I guess. Especially where the canopy is, I would assume.
But the canopy's not a very durable structure. I mean, it's just.
No, I mean, yeah, you can certainly knock it down with a fire truck, but
Oh, now, the new parking is the bottom section and then the back side of the canopy, because that's where the staff parking always was, where the canopy is.
Right.
we kind of drew a line off the.
It's this.
Yeah. If
Which
you go
is-
off the fitness center wall to the north and went straight, that was basically the end of the lot. And then everything in that space was going to be open.
It was this,
Yeah.
more or less.
I'm not so much worried about that bottom section of parking, but it would be nice to pick up those other 6 spaces. You're not chewing into that other space that much.
Well, and I mean, we don't know when that spot would get used, if, ever, right? So I don't have
40 years.
Yeah, I don't have a problem saying, hey, you know what, we're not using it right now, we can make it some parking. But you just have to realize that at some point in the lifespan of this building, a decision might be made that says, hey, we're gonna build something else, and this is the spot that we've outlined for it, and that might all have to go away to make room for another building.
Well, those 6 spaces would go away. The other 6 spaces were already there.
Right.
Well, even still, I
Oh,
agree.
well-
However, if they put another building there, that whole back parking lot's gonna have to get a little bit rearranged for another building.
Yeah.
Even if it's still there, they'll cut into that.
Sorry
Just
about
avoid the bottom left corner.
I know.
But, yeah, I mean, it's not a huge issue. It's just a little counter to kind of what we had sketched out. So as long as we're clear that since it's not being used now, we're going to use it for parking versus, hey, this is an important part of the building plan. Like, yeah, I mean, we don't have to re-engineer all the parking just because we might put a building there in 30 years. But
We'll be repaving this lot before we put a
Yeah.
building there.
yeah,
I think it's important to realize that, like, we've talked about the hypothetical building, you know, or the prospect of another building down the road. It's a lot more cost effective to do this now and try to plan for, you know, whatever, some additional parking than it would be to try to bite this off, you know, at another time.
right. Yeah, that's fine.
And really, we're just talking about removing pavement. There's no physical structure that canopy, you know, if we had to relocate it, I'm sure we could. But again, that would be, you know, that's a whole nother project.
And I'm assuming when we did the canopies, I would recommend that we do two separate structures, right? Let's forecast 30 years down the road, right? And we have to eliminate those 8 spaces on the bottom, whatever that is, and those other 6 spaces. Now you're only talking about eliminating 6 spaces in one canopy, because those other 6 spaces in that canopy, that's gonna stay.
Oh, you want to do them like
Oh,
back to back cantilevers?
I would make them 2 separate structures. That way you could eliminate something and not affect the other side of it.
They're gonna cut into that no matter what. If they're building for site work, site
Yeah,
work.
yeah,
that's
that
gonna
back
get-
lot will
it's
have to
gonna
be
get
I mean,
either way.
Do you think it's more cost effective to have one physical structure other than 2? Like, I'm just thinking for.
Yeah, because if we did it as a yeah, it would be more cost effective to do it as a single
I
structure.
would just keep the one, because it's gonna have to get moved either way if another building goes there.
We're not talking about $1 million.
I'm going to ask, what's the need for the canopy?
So what happens is the chief's car, the deputy's car, the staff positions, during snowstorms, our cars are outside. So when we have to go during snowstorm and emergencies, our cars are covered in snow. So this would be for chief, deputy, the staff positions during the day, that our vehicles are under cover in inclement weather. You see the same thing at police stations. Sutton, all the new police stations, they all have canopies for inclement weather for vehicles. So it wouldn't be for, these are for working positions that our vehicles don't have room inside the bays. Even with this new configuration, we don't have space inside the bays for staff positions to be out of inclement weather.
So why can't the canopy be over the current spaces that are on the backside, or some of the current spaces in the backside? You know, that were out there anyway,
So that's
just north of there.
that's employee parking to the north.
Yeah, so it's town vehicles that you're
We're
looking
trying to
to put under the
Ah.
canopy, right? That's,
Right, and it's adjacent to the staff entrance. The
Trying to
staff
keep them closer
entrance
to the
is,
entrance.
yeah. Which is what, there's a chief, deputy chief, pickup, there's a pickup. What do you guys have about,
yeah, there's 4 to 5 staff positions that are on during the day. They work Monday through Friday.
yeah, that have fire-provided vehicles?
Matt, do you remember what the canopy was like in Sutton? Because again, these are not, like Charlton just built 2 at their substation, but they're big. Like they can fit trailers under them. They could actually fit a fire truck under them I'm not envisioning that. I'm envisioning something like Sutton Police, where you're talking about a canopy
I don't
that
think it was
houses like
much.
SUVs, not,
I mean, it was 7-8 years ago, so the price wouldn't hold true. But I want to say it was less than $100,000 for that one at the time, and I think I could look up the number. I want to say the one we did for Shrewsbury, which was pretty big, was like $250,000. But that was like, I think that was like 30, 40 cars that we fit under that one.
Shrewsbury one is very large.
It's big,
Yeah.
and that's big enough for a fire. It's over 14 foot clear underneath that thing, so it's big and tall.
The Sutton one, I think, has PV on it, if I remember
Yep.
right.
They did that right away. Shrewsbury's, if they don't have it yet, it's getting it. But I would say more public safety buildings than not. We do a parking canopy. But there's plenty of them that don't.
What would the roof be? Just like corrugated metal or something if you don't do it?
We could do it a number of different ways. If we're looking to get some protection, then we would put a roof, proper roof on it. You know, we could do just solar panels, but if you do just solar, they have gaps, so stuff does get through. But yeah, probably just a metal deck, a piece of cover board, and then a sheet of EPDM or PVC or whatever. Keep it really simple.
Could you do it like the corrugated that's on the building? Like that look?
Yeah. So that when you look up, that's what you would see. It would have a finished roof on top of it, because we're still going to want to deal with and manage drainage and things like that.
Are you gonna bring electric out to it?
Yep. Yeah, so when the columns will run up power so you can vacuum cars and things like that.
Oh, nice.
We're already running power to it to power lights, so it just makes sense. You've got power at most of your site light fixtures too out there on site, so.
Where's the solar stations on that?
The
EV.
The EV stations? Sure, I can show you a plan. And this is from DD, so it's not perfectly accurate, but we've got EV stations kind of all over the place.
I'm just wondering if you need an EV station under that overhang.
We can put it under the overhang, certainly. These are all
That's just prepped for EV. not
these are all
necessarily-
these are all prepped for EV. There's your ADA space. So 20% of the spaces need to be designated EV ready, which basically means a pedestal, like a box with the wiring included in the circuitry already connected, and then you just come in and plop the unit on.
Can you zoom into the front entrance? That one you have the slide up. See that 5-foot sidewalk right there in between the van space? Yeah, right there.
Right here?
Can that be moved to the left so it aligns with the building to make it more of a formal entrance? Yeah. Like
Oh yeah. We're
the planter edge over.
yeah. I know that's good. That's a good pickup. Definitely.
Now, was that 6-inch curb that runs around that plaza?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's a good catch.
I noticed on your roof, the roof plan, you had like 8-inch tapered insulation. Would it be better to pitch the steel and just have not so much insulation?
Where we it is more economical to do so. We have two locations where we're doing that, if I recall correctly. We have a small central roof sort of up high over, let's go to the roof plan. So I believe you're talking about right here.
The EPD or the PVC roof?
Yeah, so
That
it's right here and right here we're doing that. The reason being, this one, it was easy. Before I speak out of turn. Yeah. This one, it was more economical when we analyzed this roof to do it with tapered than with the steel, just because of the complexity of it being that internal structure and all the bracing and everything that they had going on in there. And then this one is because that's the composite cast in place concrete roof deck for the future addition. This is this one right here. This is where we are pitching the steel that way in order to do that.
So that'll be a lot less than 8 inches.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. The new stretch code requirements are The amount of insulation we need is just insane. In fact, with this one, because of that, we have areas where we've got over 16 inches of insulation. And we're just barely getting by too with that. And 6 inches of insulation in the wall outside of the structure, continuous.
And then one other thing, getting back to the apparatus bay area.
Mm-hmm.
You said it's gonna be like 20-foot clear. The door, the sectional doors, those are
14 feet.
tracked. Can they go up like the vertical lift so that get as high as they can?
Yeah, they'll
Instead
be
of
on
going straight across.
Yep, yeah, they'll be on high lift tracks. We for a door that size, we have to do that anyway, or they'll bind. So we kind of need to ease them into that horizontal position. Fortunately, we already got the how-to from the fire department's overhead door rep. Already told the department all the things to watch out for. They're kind of a pain at that size.
Matt, what's the new square footage total? So we've had some reductions, and where are we at now with total square footage?
Do you have a paper copy of the full estimate, Connor?
Not with me, no.
Not with you. Oh, let me see. There was some back and forth.
29,111.
I think that's, yeah. Yep.
29,111?
Yep.
So we've seen an overall reduction, just put it out there, we've seen an overall reduction of 6,889 square feet since we started this.
If we just got rid of the mechanics bay to start.
Huh?
It was 6. It's bigger than the station.
Hang on one second.
Yeah.
Started at 30, we started at 36.
The fans in the you're still having those?
Yep.
Would be in line
the
with the
reduction.
doors in the higher volume?
Yeah. There's a series of those.
Is that the big ass fans, so 16 foot or?
Not 16 feet. We're doing 4-foot radiuses, I think. So they're 8. I think we're going back and forth on that today, actually, in a coordination call. I think we're going to go down to 4 foot. But yes, the big ass fans.
They really help.
They do.
So I guess to move the meeting along, what would you guys like to do with the new site plan?
I mean, you're talking. You just said you need 3 or 4 vehicles on a shift, but we're adding 12 spaces covered plus another 10 on space there that should be. I mean, so it appears that you're just taking over the entire site versus, oh yeah, future building can come in and take over the spaces, but that's not what the project is growing to take up the entire site. More of what's happening.
I mean, do we need those extra spaces to the south of that?
So the plan with the south would be we have trailers, different size trailers, and the plan would be to put the trailers there.
But you have real estate at Drury Square where they are right now. Do they have to be here if they're not used all the time?
Right now, half of them are out at the West Street station, and then the other half are at the Auburn Street station. From the standpoint, if a future building goes there, they're gonna have to just move the pavement So nothing that we do here with a parking lot or cutting into any of the green space at this time prevents a building from going there.
Yes, it does, because you're going to say, I can't live without that space because I got all these trailers I need to park, and you've taken over the real estate. You've
Well,
commanded the real estate.
In the end, whatever building goes there, they're gonna have to readjust the parking at that time, whether the parking goes underground or moved around the space. So either way, there's a parking issue with whatever building goes there, and the parking will be restructured at that particular point in time as part of the project. So I guess our question is whether or not you wanna put it in as an add alternate down the road, just even as an option, or not as an option. And one of the reasons I think we're pushing this to see is this has to be put in front of planning. The next time we go before planning and conservation to make sure that they're all set with it, if we do end up potentially doing this option.
How many things are we trying to find places to park now on December 1st?
Well, there's 7 staff vehicles today.
Okay.
So even if we eliminated all of this new parking, my next question to Matt was gonna be, is there a way to add an additional parking space there on that top to go from 6 to 7? So at least on day 1, there's enough parking spaces for the staff vehicles that are here today.
You got,
So the north block doesn't change in this, right?
Right, the north
there's
block was
11
always-
spaces along that side right now, in that plan.
Matt, the plan that you just had up with the new, right. Right, but there's 6 on the north, 6 on the south, am I not counting that correct?
Yeah, and then
But in the old plan, there
And
was
the-
11.
You had
across
11
that.
straight across on that,
So you've added 1, plus all those extra down at the
and then,
bottom.
and you took up space because you have to have circulation movement around it.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, but the reason to add the south parking and that turnaround was because you had to make that turnaround, correct? Like it is,
Well, you have to get into the
yeah.
into the
backside.
canopy. I mean,
Yeah.
you could eliminate the spaces and not take up as much space, but you have to have space to get in and out of the canopy. But
Correct, yep.
What am I missing? So, these 6 spaces were in the original plan.
There's 11
there's 11
in the
spaces across
original
there right
plan
now.
at that spot.
it's a net gain of 11 spaces.
So if we were to eliminate everything that's highlighted in yellow, what could the top go
11.
back to, 11? Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I was just looking at it as the 6.
Yeah, no. Yeah, in this one, it's the 11, and then we had to get rid of 5 in order to get the 2 drive aisles.
Gotcha.
So if you leave it like that, put a canopy over those 11 spaces, you lose 1 covered space from your diagram, but you don't move into any of the green space that was pre-allocated for future building.
Correct.
And you don't gain those 11 spaces that we have in there.
Is there a way you can extend the gray areas to the left by 2 spaces on top and 1 on the bottom?
No, because we
Add islands, right?
we down here, because we're dealing with the existing wetland buffer and all that, we have to match those existing grades. We're making up grade right here, and it's it's on the steep side for what would constitute a parking space.
Okay.
Same thing with the north side here. We wouldn't be able to put parking spaces there.
Well, and I think when we looked at this, we talked about potentially parking some trailers back there. And if you look at this setup, if you have a truck and a trailer and you're trying to back it into, say, those south spots with all employees parked on the north spots, that's gonna be difficult. And most of the trailers we're talking about are 20+ feet long. I see what you're saying about the, we lost one spot, that makes sense. I like the idea of that lower section more than I, can see the value in doing the 6-on-6 stacked. I like the lower part for kind of sweeping around and easeability. I know with the police station, they've struggled with parking for 20 years. They've added.
Well, that's because
I
the
just
police
would hate
station,
to be-
the police force have also probably tripled in size since the station was built too, so.
I would hate to have to go out for more money down the road to say, this setup is, it doesn't make sense for us operationally, and we could have done it as part of this project.
Can you zoom that out just one? Yeah. Hypothetically, if instead of going all along Route 20 with the public lot, if it wrapped the training center and you left those last 2 blobs of parking there as potential future building space, does that change anything?
I don't know. I don't recall what, I don't recall off the top of my head what the setbacks, the building setbacks are there.
I think you need that whole space for the future building. It was already tight to begin with when we looked at it.
Yeah,
Because we extended the,
we looked at something like, footprint was like this.
yeah. Yeah, because we extended the public lot, 1, because of the training center, but 2, assuming a future building went in, that would just become part of the public parking for a future building. I'm just wondering if rearranging that can solve both problems, I guess. It leaves some future space where the main parking for a future building would be along the training center or something. But you may not want to connect those lots either, so. I just feel like we're using up so much space for that turnaround.
We are, and the building is already pushed west because we've got supersized aprons coming off of the road.
Yeah.
Super depth. I mean, they're much deeper than what you have now at Drury Square.
Even if we took space off the apron and made it shorter, what is that really gaining us?
It's not that much deeper anyways. It's 20 feet maybe.
You know what I mean? How wide is a parking spot, Matt?
8, 9, 8 or 9. Yeah. Like it's 2.
If we push the building up against the Prospect, right up against Prospect Street, we'd gain 5, 6 parking spaces.
Well, I wouldn't say right up against it, but I mean, right now that apron depth is X. And I mean, it's a healthy one. I mean, there's a lot of reason that it's probably good or not good, but I mean, it leaves a lot of space on that side of the building that's.
Well, the reason that it's good is it keeps us off of Prospect Street. Right now, when we turn into Auburn Street, every maneuver that we make puts us back onto Auburn
Right.
Street in order to back up. So I would just hate to lose, it's 20-foot difference, but it keeps us off of Prospect Street.
One of the most dangerous operations a firefighter endures is backing up a fire truck. Not for themselves, but for other people around them.
Well, and even if down the road, if Prospect Street changed, something out of our control, they decided to widen the road, and we make a move to push the building forward today, well, now it's really in the street.
Is there a way, I'm thinking, could you put it up against the training center and not have to go have a complete loop or something?
Are you talking about spaces, Greg, that
Yeah, I'm
are
just
like
trying to-
pull up against the building?
Well, or maybe the drive goes between the building and the spaces. I don't know, just to get away from leave the windows some space without having a trailer parked in front of it. But
Well, I think you're still gonna end up with the issue. He was talking about that with the truck and the trailer. So you're talking about just a long.
How is it any
narrow
different here?
parking
You're
along the
backing
side of
into
the
a
building,
space
right?
with a canopy structure and cars parked there on the same distance that you'd be backing in
Well,
up
'cause
above.
you have the drive aisles. You could go up, drive up, back in.
You could
drive
also
up,
take
back
the
in.
trailer. You could take a couple of the two stack spaces and put trailers in there, and you can grab them from either side. If they're only 20 foot, they're not going to be any more than what a vehicle is.
No, they're over 20 feet, and that's employee parking to the north.
Those would be deeper spaces on the south end, those 10 spaces?
No, I was just saying it would be easier to swing around if you had a trailer on, and then, then
For
you
the
come
first
back in.
space, yeah, because you can go up in the driveway and pull back to it. But the middle spaces are just the same as any other space.
Yeah, I mean, you could use probably 4 of those pretty easy by pulling up.
I'm just wondering if there's a way we could just design something that was intended for trailers to be parked in.
I mean, at the end of the day, whether those parking spaces go there or not, the trailers are going there. So whether they're sitting on the lawn, or they're sitting on pavement.
And the way it's drawn now, the trailer can maneuver there and back into those spaces on the bottom?
I mean, I see it with my eye. It looks relatively easy. And I will say this, for the amount of times we pull them in and out, it's not like we're doing this every day, right? Like, we don't respond every day with a trailer, but it would be nice if it had a home. You know what I mean? And without that, they don't really have a home.
Yeah.
On Auburn Street, they don't have a home. They're just kind of parked up against the building. And we're spending all this money and talking about layouts and making cuts here and there. And I think to not try to plan for that
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
would be tough.
Yeah.
It's whether it's grass or asphalt parking, it's for all intents and purposes, temporary till this new building ever comes in, so might as well use it. But I would say put like some fast-growing shrubbery along the south and west side just to kind of shield it. And if you got trailers parked there and you see it from the public entrance, I mean, you might want to just screen it, just to make it look a little more park-like. There, and then a little bit on the west turn, maybe.
Wow.
I don't know. And you still have some usable space, that L shape around it, just for open space.
At this
I
point,
just-
basically, we need to decide whether or not we're gonna.
Well,
post this as a-
I just feel like there's got to be a different way to design like what equipment you have, the trailers you have. Can we just design something that fits that? I'm a little upset that we're December 1st and we're just thinking about where are we going to put the trailers, because I had thought that was part of the design, I guess, is that everything was going to have a home.
Originally, we did have a lot more parking back there in the original design, and that got cut. as Josue went through with the civil engineer plans and then the drop off, so.
What did we lose
cut-
for
we-
parking
we
spaces from
lost,
the original plan?
I feel like half.
I wanna say it was 60 or 70, is it that high?
Well, let's, okay, you really want to go out on the limb here? You move the floodplain, right? If we go back to that.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the floodplain now?
Right here.
So, why, everybody's gonna hate me, but that roadway that gets us between Route 20 and Southbridge Street, what does it really accomplish? It's gonna be a constant battle. You guys know it, that people are gonna try to use it and stuff. So if you take the slope question out of half of that, you can build that parking lot out further on the south side and just have it come in from Southbridge Street maybe.
I don't know the answer to this question. Can you do parking in the floodplain?
Well, we wouldn't we'd be coming up toward it. Is that the revised floodplain? I'm just saying that instead of having the ramp down and the slope down to the roadway, you could extend that parking lot some distance,
Just
and with
take away the roadway.
take away the roadway out to Route 20.
Or put parking spots on the roadway. Like it's not a drive that people are really driving through, right? This is basically giving you the ability to get in from either Route 20 or Route 12, right?
It's site access for us.
So,
Site access to respond out and.
yeah. So, is there a way that the flow of that could incorporate places to park some trailers or something? You know, does it? You know, because you don't have to. You're not trying to go 20 to 12, right? You're going 20 to station. You're going 12 to station, probably. Or the other way around, right? So, could that be incorporated into? You know, could you park trailers on the part that's really not being used, right? The part that's in line with the parking lot.
So like,
You parallel park them there or something, you know,
if you carved out a line like that for parallel parking, we're property to property line up here for the most part, so there's not much we can do up here.
Yeah, I feel like that road wasn't that wide on the plan.
It's not a standard road, right?
Mm-mm.
2 cars, it's like a single car.
Yeah, it's like 20 feet or something like that.
yeah, but if you make that road just go and then turn into the parking lot, and it goes and turns into the parking lot, then you've got more parking lot, basically, right?
What are the requirements on that
I know what you're saying.
island right there,
Yeah,
Matt?
because you're not gonna drive through.
Can that be
It's not-
relocated somewhere else,
you
like
just
to
turn it into
extend the parking
driveways,
that way?
right?
That's all your storm drainage for the lot.
Yeah,
Pick it-
is there
it's
space
both
there
picking
that
up
we could put?
Yeah, you're saying the in-between.
Yeah, yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. I like that.
Okay.
What's the in between?
So basically, the access road from Route 12 would come, you would enter from Route 12, you'd come down, and then you immediately turn left there. And then from Route 20, you'd come in from Route 20 or go out either way. Let's say you come in Route 20, you turn right. That in between where you didn't turn, like in between there, the straight right there, yep. You use that to park because you're not really going to be driving between.
Okay.
Which
I'm not going to change my plan. That's just that's an
just
agreement
an
between you
operational
folks,
cost.
right?
Yeah, yeah. Yep.
We'll still, this will still just be paved
It's
through
good
as it
use of the
is,
space.
Yeah.
but it's you guys using the space that way.
It won't be designated as such,
That
Right.
makes
is
sense.
what you're
Could
saying.
paint
And then
it,
then I don't have to change my plan at all.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you could
Well,
just.
if we put a trailer there, you'd just pull in and say, well, I can't go any further.
Can't go any further with the
Right.
trailer, but I mean, you could block it off, right, with a line or a bollard or
Kind of
anything,
eliminate,
right? I mean,
it eliminates what another
eliminates the
concern
cut-through.
that we've kind of had is
It's a cut
that
through.
cut through.
Exactly. And how you manage that?
It's like
I
a
mean, you've been
gate.
talking about
It's like
gates
a
and doing
gate.
everything, but you can't do gates and you can't. But
They'll do it once. They'll pull in and realize that they're in the parking lot, and then they won't do it again.
yeah.
Yeah, I like
All
that.
right. So this all goes away then. We go back to this.
So that goes back to the 11 spaces up there?
Yep.
Okay.
So now, are we doing
Now,
it?
if we
Now
want
we
to
do,
canopy something in those 11 spaces.
Right, so my suggestion would be that
That's-
we look as an adult to canopy those 11 spaces.
Or it becomes 10 and
I think
you
if I
can't
remember right, Matt, when we talked about it, didn't you say we'd lose a space? For the
Depends how we do
canopy?
the structure. Yeah, it might be like that, but if it's
Yeah, you're it's a, now you're only single loaded, so you could cantilever easier.
right, we can if we do this, we could
build
we
a
could,
structure
we
on
could
the
do it. We
backside
could do a
and
cantilever.
cantilever.
Yeah, so you wouldn't be in the spot, you wouldn't need a
Yeah.
pillar.
It wouldn't be an
Wouldn't
issue.
need something out in the middle of the spaces.
Yeah.
Look at you guys solving everything.
So we get paid the big bucks for.
Boom. All right. I didn't have anything else. Told you it was gonna be long though. Any other questions?
All right, so that canopy would be as a add alt on the
Yep.
on the construction documents and the bids. So depending on where the numbers come in and everything else and how much that comes in at,
Yeah.
The other thing we're going to have to do, and this I think is going to have to be for the next building committee meeting, is I think the next building committee meeting will be the last opportunity that you'll all have to vote to the select board on proprietary specifications.
yeah.
So we've got a few of them. I will have a list prepared and send it to you ahead of time. We'll go back and forth on language and all that stuff, and then you guys got to vote on it, and the select board has got to vote on it before the bid.
So that
Like that has to happen this month.
I was gonna say, is that possible for you to get it to us this month?
Because we have to vote and then we have to get on the agenda for the select board.
Yep.
I mean, we're meeting usually opposite weeks of them.
You just do it.
So-
They're third and they're
They're the second and
second and fourth.
second and fourth. So their first meeting in January would be the 12th, Monday the 12th. Is that, that's okay? Okay, so. the-
Okay, so if we
as long as I don't need to be here,
that's
the day
we'd have to do it on the 5th.
On the 5th.
I guess that would work if we.
So 1/5 for the next committee meeting.
Well, unless there's other stuff that we need to meet in between here, but I mean that's definitely.
Well-
I mean, I think proprietary stuff would probably have to be definitely by then.
And we need to get on the agenda for the 12th.
For the-
Yep. Matt or Connor, what do you anticipate? You know, I know we got a holiday coming up here, but is there anything that you envision that the committee is going to need to take action on
Prior to the
this
holiday,
month?
This month, no.
January will be busy.
It's going to be this, and then whatever you guys need to do to approve us to submit the bid docs.
So there will be 2 meetings in January. I assume.
So when do you anticipate that you would have the proprietary list together for the committee, for their review? I mean, it obviously would have to be before the 5th, but when do you anticipate that that list would be wrapped up?
I mean, I can put it together in the next week and a half.
Okay.
I mean, I think we.
Yeah, just to get, the committee could have it for a couple of weeks
I
before
think we
they.
know what we need to do with it. I just need to put cover letters together.
Okay.
Shouldn't take long. I'll try to do it for the end of next week.
Tentatively, we should probably meet the 19th too as well, I assume.
Is that MLK?
Well, that's just, Martin Luther King Day.
Oh, it is.
So we might have to.
Tuesday the 20th.
Tuesday the 20th.
Can the building, I don't know if we met on a Tuesday, are people available?
We've done it before.
Oh, we
Yeah.
have.
And then when do you anticipate the bid is going out?
January.
30th.
January 30th?
That Friday.
You have a hard and fast on that one, Connor. When's our drop dead?
Drop dead bid date?
They have, because with the
Yeah, it would
prequels,
be-
when they
yeah,
send
yeah,
the
that-
prequels
yeah,
out on
that's-
Wednesday,
Yep, I'll tell you in 1 second.
it starts a
It'll be
clock.
so.
Unless you guys feel you want to hold those for a week or two.
I have. Yeah. I would, we would put we're holding them to honor that wait.
So I don't know if we want to
So
buy a
that
little
put,
breathing room.
yeah, that puts us to February 4th.
That's our drop dead.
Yep.
Unless you delay
Well,
the notices.
I'd like to, yeah, I mean, I'd like to get up before then. I don't like waiting till the last minute for that kind of stuff. But first or something, you know, like,
The longer we wait, the more we might scare off some.
I mean, we're on track for January 30th.
yes, correct.
It's gonna be, it's the committee's comfortability with the estimate kind of happening at the same time as those documents hitting the streets.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of dominoes all at once.
I think it's better that we hit the timeline than, like, I want to get those out as fast as we can, because I think the time is right to get it bid. So I guess I would be, based on the budget discussion today, I wouldn't anticipate major changes that we wouldn't find out about on the 20th, even though final estimates aren't done. I would assume we'd have preliminary, or some idea of like, oh, we found this or that would make us have to do something.
I mean, at the end of the day, the final estimate that we're running is, it's just a gut check at that point, hopefully. We're not adding any surprises to the estimators into the drawings. It's not like, whoa, where'd you add that other building? That wasn't in the unit, you know, it's refinement of the details.
Where'd that canopy come from? Oh, wait.
Oh, yeah. There'll be that.
I think we're before planning on the 13th.
January 13th?
Yeah. So we should be receiving our final approval from planning on the 13th.
So we want to meet again here,
Fifth,
January 5th?
January, I got the 5th and the 20th for building committee.
Yeah.
And so that'll be for proprietary.
Yeah, proprietary,
And
okay.
I would say, for me, so we can get the documents coordinated and specs coordinated, that would probably be the one we want to vote on the alternates, whatever they may be at that point too.
And then the 20th would be bid doc approval from us.
Do we have a current list of alternates?
Yeah, I was gonna say, do we need to meet in December to look at alternates, or?
Other than the canopy, I don't know what we have right now. We've got the radiant flooring. So we have a base right now of the apparatus bay floors, radiant heat, and then an alternate for the supplementary spaces outside of there.
Under the mezzanine. Oh,
Under the mezzanine,
Yeah.
decon, and all that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a lot of alternates other than like the canopies, the first one, but the other thing I guess you could consider is you guys have already ranked the things that would have to come off, like in the event that it came in over budget, you could just use that list as your,
Yeah,
the value engineering.
The value engineering list.
reasonable list together that we can go through. That we can say, no, number 3. You know?
But is that something you need more time with than
No,
if
I
it was the 5th and the
I can't take any more
9th?
time because I need.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, if it's not until January 5th that we meet the next time, is that too late? That's what I'm saying. Do we need to meet on the 20th?
Nope.
Or, I mean, the 15th of this month. Sorry, it'd be the next one.
I'd rather take the time and get you guys an appropriate list.
Okay.
For the 20th to get the proprietary stuff and that together, I think is.
Well, I would-
Rushing it.
I wouldn't say for trying to get all the,
Yeah.
both of them. I'm just saying that if you need it for the alternates or something for discussions or whatever, that would be, I mean, our time slot would be the 15th, would be 2 weeks from today.
Thinking about the agenda for the 5th, it would just be those two things, so even if we had to spend an hour going through it.
Well, but he's got to put documents together and plans together and everything that he's got to be ready to go out to bid. So that's all. That's why I'm asking it. Just from
Yeah, I guess that would give you 2 weeks to turn anything around that came out of the 5th for us to sign off on.
I'll huddle up with my team. I'll huddle up with my team and see how they feel. If they feel like they need the decision earlier. I think for the most part, most everybody's going to be off for those 2 weeks, so I don't think we're going to have any value add in the production of the documents
Or on the holidays.
between January 20th and December 20th and January 5th. So
Well, the meeting would be the 15th, but
yeah, even still, I don't. It's not going to buy us that much. I'd rather wait till the 5th. I think.
okay.
And if they disagree with me, I'll deal with the fallout.
All right, so I guess the next thing is now that we've had the updated presentation on where we kind of stand on both budgets and drawings and everything else, that we need, as we did with the schematic design, the approval to go forward with the design development budget.
So I can make a motion to approve and proceed forward with the design document of a total budget of $30,999,487 as discussed today.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussions, questions? If not, all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? That's a vote. Okay. The next item is just our open committee discussion topics and stuff. I don't know, we talked about a lot already, so I don't know if there's anything else anybody needs to bring up or as we go forward. If not, we can move on to the next, which is our second public comment section, and still no public here, so I would entertain a motion to adjourn and have our next meeting on scheduled on January 5th, 2026.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor? Thank you very much, everybody.